Colin Kaepernick sacrificed his dream in order to serve a greater cause in bringing awareness to social and civil injustice. In Nike's Believe in Something advertisement, Kaepernick stated, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything." Kaepernick should have never been forced to sacrifice his dream and just needed someone to believe in him. This is Believing in Colin Kaepernick. It's February 3rd, 2013. The San Francisco 49ers are playing the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl, down 34-29 with 4 minutes and 19 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. It all comes down to new starting quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick is only in his 10th start after taking over for Alex Smith in the middle of the 2012 regular season. After winning the majority of his games, including one of the most impressive postseason performances of all time by a quarterback against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, Cap has led them all the way to the Super Bowl, something they have not achieved since the Joe Montana days. The Niners will look to become Super Bowl champions as it all comes down to one final play.
Incomplete! No flags on the play! Incomplete!
Following their Super Bowl loss, the Niners decided to go with Kaepernick as their starter moving forward. After another dominant season with Cap as their QB, the Niners make it to the NFC Championship game against their division rivals, the Seattle Seahawks. Cap once again has a shot to prove that he belongs in the NFL and is one of its premier players and make the Super Bowl. Little did we know that just 3 years later, Kaepernick would be out of the league and fighting a much different type of battle. Despite still being capable and an average to even above average quarterback, Colin Kaepernick to this day remains out of the league for reasons that have nothing to do with his play. Colin Kaepernick deserves another shot in the NFL and another opportunity to live his dream after being unjustly whiteballed from the league. Following their loss to the Seattle Seahawks, the 49ers would go through multiple troublesome seasons due to injuries, coaching changes, and more. Coming into the 2016 season, Kaepernick would be battling for the starting job with longtime backup quarterback Blaine Gabbert. During the 2016 preseason, Kaepernick would decide to try to bring awareness to a cause that has gone criminally underrated. By taking a knee during the national anthem on September 1st in 2016, Kaepernick attempted to bring awareness to police brutality in America. While Kaepernick's protest was peaceful, it was met with aggressive scrutiny. Despite Kaepernick's claims that the protest had nothing to do with disrespect to the soldiers who fight and have fought for the rights of the American flag, Kaepernick was still branded like a traitor. Kaepernick's intent to bring awareness to a real issue in systemic and institutional racism and police brutality was met with hatred and ignorance. As Kaepernick became regularly scrutinized by many, his message became lost to all except those who truly cared to listen. Kaepernick would opt out of his contract with the 49ers following the 2016 season, making him a free agent. Kaepernick spent the entire 2017 and 2018 season out of work as virtually every team in the league with a need at quarterback signed a less accomplished passer. 42 quarterbacks signed with teams between March 2017 and November 2017, most of whom had either never played in the NFL or had a losing record as a starter. Kaepernick was 28-30 over 5 seasons. In total, 115 quarterbacks, not including draft picks or players re-signed with their teams, were promoted from the practice squad who have been signed to teams since Kaepernick opted out. Quarterbacks like Kellen Clemens, who had more interceptions than touchdowns, Josh McCown, who had 18 wins and 42 losses in his career, EJ Manuel, who had 6 wins and 11 losses in his career. Guys you've never heard of like Matt McGloin, who had 1 win and 6 losses in his career, and so many underqualified people got chances while Kaepernick was forced to sit at home and hope for another opportunity. So why is Kaepernick not getting any job offers? Because the elite, old, typically white owners refuse to have someone who disrespected the flag play for them, as it would bring too much unwanted attention. Despite the fact that Kaepernick stated and restated that his protest had nothing to do with disrespecting the flag and it did not matter. In fact, Kaepernick's initial stance was to sit during the national anthem. However, he met with retired Army Green Beret Nate Boyer, who convinced him to kneel because soldiers kneel at the graves of their fallen brothers and sisters. So Kaepernick was kneeling as a form of respect towards all of those who have fallen as in the acts of police brutality and systemic racism. Yet he is branded a monster. Then 3 years after Kaepernick's initial protests, 3 years of him without a job, and 3 years in which he held camps, did interviews, donated to charities, all dealing with police brutality, Black Lives Matter, and knowing your rights. did attention finally begin to be brought to systemic racism. Following the death of George Floyd on May 25th, 2020, due to police brutality, many looked back at Kaepernick's initial protest and began to understand the real meaning behind it. Kaepernick warned about the unjust acts of police brutality. As so many lives have been affected or even ended by this, until it was swept through and across social media, did people really begin to take notice? So my question is, despite knowing everything that we know now, all the misled hate, all the ignorance, and all the excuses, why does Colin Kaepernick still not have a job in the NFL? So who will give Colin Kaepernick a rightful opportunity to live his dream once again?